You feel your body relax as you sit down in your room. You take a drink from the cup next to your bed. That's curious. You could swear you didn't have claws, but through the bottom of the cup, your hand definitely had that appearance. You take a look at your hand afterward, and it looks normal. Why did your hand have that kind of appearance when that wasn't really how your hand looks? After a few minutes of Googling, you learn that things like water and clear plastic bend light. You settle back into your bed and go back to thinking about your day. Megan was kind of nasty at school today. I wonder what her problem was.
Why was Mr. Simmons
She
late
could have been
on
less
his
obnoxious.
man
Lunch today was
He always
killer.
has his
I love
stuff done on
gyros.
time.
Is he
I
doing
wonder
it?
what would happen if I
wonder
just
how you
hit her.
say that. So the reason that I was able to see my hand incorrectly was because there was something between me and my hand? For things that I see, there's always something in between myself and what I see. If I'm right up against it, then there's no light to let me see it. If I touch something, that sensation has to travel all the way up my body to reach my brain, too. What about yesterday? I can't remember. Did I have an Asiago cheese bagel or a cinnamon crunch? How many steps lead up to my back deck? Is there something between me and the past? When I get the past wrong, I usually have some idea of the past that tells me about it. So there's an idea between me and the past, and there are sensations between me and my body. And there's air between me and what I can see. How much of this can be manipulated? Is there something here which I can't be wrong about? You look around the room and see your cup, your bedside stand, a guitar in the corner, and your backpack. The backpack is green, but there are things between you and the backpack. How close do I have to get? You believe in the backpack, but for the sake of experiment, the backpack could be a trick of the light. You look around the room and notice the same. Your room may appear to be there, but it could also be a trick. Maybe the air or what's touching your skin, but there's distance between you and your body. The information has to travel through your body, so that disappears too. There is nothing left. Then you look around. You have a body, you're in a room, and see a guitar. But the objects aren't there now. You experience them, though. Your experience of all of these objects is right there, even if the objects themselves aren't. You can focus on your experiences, even if you don't believe in the objects that your experiences tell you about. On this realization, you recede into the depths of your mind and begin a long search. Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Cartesian Meditations by Edmund Husserl. I hope you enjoyed my little intro there. I thought I would have some fun with this one. But yeah, along with the Phenomenology of Time series, I'm going to be doing a series on one of his more intro texts, which is called the Cartesian Meditations, just so if you're trying to keep up with the other phenomenology stuff, you have something which is a bit more foundational, a little bit more kind of frameworky before you get into that. But yeah, so that's what we're looking at today. We have the introduction. First, we're starting with Descartes and skepticism. Descartes' use of skepticism is what brings us to phenomenology. Husserl actually credits Descartes with discovering what he calls the transcendental ego, which is something we'll get to in a little bit. But yeah, following Descartes, we are overthrowing the whole of philosophy and searching for the unifying rational ground of all the sciences. In searching for the rational ground of the sciences, we will overthrow all of them. We've got a neat little quote from Husserl here. Anyone who seriously intends to become a philosopher must once in his life withdraw into himself and attempt within himself to overthrow and build anew all the sciences that up to then he has been accepting. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe we're going for here. So we're taking the method of doubt. Everything that can be doubted must be excluded. So the world as existing must be disbelieved. All that is left will be the ego and its cogitationes, that is, the self and the thoughts or experiences that the self has, its cogitations. We're very interested here in apodictic certainty. This is certainty which you are incapable of doubting, just in virtue of having the idea it must be true. Apodictic certainty. And with that out of the way, we make our way to the first meditation, the way to the transcendental ego. First, we have the sciences. We have to remove our ideas of the physical sciences. The physical sciences are all based on experience, and as such, they're all doubtful. They're all the products of induction and theory, which we can't base our beliefs on, because those are capable of being doubted, as you might have been convinced by the opening. But if not, I mean, you're welcome to watch videos about Descartes, evil demons, and such. So what we're looking for here is a philosophical science. This is supposed to be a science which has no presuppositions. This is a science which gives its conclusions with absolute certainty. Now, there's a bunch of things we need to exclude when we do this. Unlike Descartes, we cannot presuppose logic or geometry. These are things that Descartes didn't entirely get rid of when he was doing his meditations on first philosophy, but they're things that Husserl would like to remove entirely. Then we have some aspects of the philosophical science, specifically judgments. Judgments are either immediate or immediate. An immediate judgment is one that you just have for no reason other than that you have it. It's the very bottom level judgment. It's a foundation. You know, if you're familiar with epistemology, it's basically the foundation. And then immediate judgment is a judgment you make on the basis of another judgment. So maybe an immediate judgment is that I experience the color red, and then a immediate judgment would be there's a red thing because I experience the color red and my senses are reliable or something. Now, this isn't the kind of judgment that Husserl is going to be making. He's not interested in inferring the existence of red things out there in the world. He's only interested in your experience. But that was just an example to demonstrate the difference between immediate and mediate judgments. And then there's grounding. Grounding is just what goes with immediate judgments. He says at one point that the true philosopher will make all of his judgments come down to a certain ground, to a ground where they cannot be proven false. So he wants absolutely certain grounding for all of his philosophical judgments. Evidence. In the broad sense, evidence is experiencing something that is. You experience a red thing, there's a red thing there. On the flip side, if you experience something which contradicts a belief, then that's negative evidence. If I experience no giraffes in my room, that's good evidence that there are, in fact, no giraffes in my room. There's the idea of perfect evidence. This is the perfect fulfilling of a meaning intention. So my idea of Abraham Lincoln with a beard is a meaning intention. It's like directed towards the world, and it's directed towards Abraham Lincoln having a beard. Now, this is perfect if there is a perfect correspondence between my idea of Abraham Lincoln with a beard and Abraham Lincoln having a beard. And then Husserl says that we should accept nothing without evidence. And then there's a thing for apodicity, which is that if you have the idea, it is unimaginable that it is false. So for this kind of pure certainty we're looking for, we need an idea where if we have it, it must be true. What is apodictically experienced? What do we just have? Well, there is the experience of the world, and the world kind of exists, but we can't take that for granted because for various reasons we can't trust our senses. All we can trust is the fact that we have experiences of the world. So maybe we can't stop ourselves from believing in the world, but for the sake of the conversation, we're going to bracket or cut off our acceptance of the existing world and settle into what Husserl calls an acceptance phenomenon. So we're studying our experience as experience. We're not studying what the experience shows us. Rather, when we accept that the world exists, we're studying our belief about the world and the acceptance of the world, the acceptance phenomenon. So the question becomes, where do we draw evidence from? Well, following Descartes, because we're good Cartesians here, cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. Whatever else is true, I exist, and I have this thought. Even if I'm incorrect, even if I'm wrong about everything, other than this, at the very least, I exist. And I know that I exist because I'm having the thought that I exist. I may not have the outside world, but I have the contents of my thought as well. I'm just acquainted with the fact that I exist, with my thoughts that I exist. I'm acquainted with my experiences. My experience of the color brown. I'm looking at a desk right now. My experience of the color brown is something that I have in the same way that I have this thought that I exist. So the phenomena of the world are present as present. And there's my phenomena of the past is past. I have my memories. And in my experience, the mode of memory is different from the mode of present experience. When I look at the desk, I see the desk and I experience it as present. And when I remember the desk a couple seconds later, I have the experience of the desk specifically as past. So my belief in the actual world here is suspended, but I have the phenomena of having that belief. I have the phenomena of believing that the world exists, and I have all of the phenomena of the world as well. This is what Husserl would call the epoche, the transcendental reduction. So we have this experience of the world, and normally we just act as if the world exists and we believe that the world exists. But for our purposes, we are putting that out of play. We're parenthesizing the world. We take the world and we say, okay, we don't really believe in that. We're not interested in that. What we're interested is in studying our experience of the world, not the world itself. We're interested in the study of experience. So we cut off the world from our experience in our study. And this leaves us nothing but the cogitationes of the ego. That is the thoughts of the self. There's the self that experiences and the experiences that self has. There's you and your experiences. And that is what we will be studying in the future meditations.